So are you guys ready for me to record?
I'm ready when you guys are.
That sounds pretty reassuring. You guys sound very excited, especially Katie. Let's just pretend there's actually people who want to listen to this. Okay, so, as the Zone's first podcast, this is going to be the first part, which is going to focus on Microsoft, EA, and Ubisoft, and the next part, which God only knows whenever that one will be recorded, that one's gonna focus on that one's gonna focus on Sony, Nintendo, and Square. But anyways, so here in the podcast we have Alicia, aka Kona.
Really, Dani?
Yes. Say hi.
My name is Kona, and hi.
Okay, and then we have Katie, aka Katerz. Say hi.
Hey, how you beautiful people?
That was sexy. And then we have Franklin, aka Franklin. Say hi.
Hey, how are you?
And then we have Avery, aka Avery or Flavory, but yes.
Flavory.
Say hi, Avery. Speak
Flavory.
up. Come on. Speak up. Come on, Avery. Anytime now. Anytime.
Konnichiwa.
So anyone...
That's what he says.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, he doesn't have a microphone, so we'll be reading what he says. So he says...
I speak Avery. I'm fluent in Avery.
Yes, Katie's very fluent in Avery. Especially when she's drinking.
Hey.
Which is almost every day, so...
Is that one of those languages you have to take a class for?
Yeah, only Canadians can. Okay, so let me get my notes up first. Let's see, which ones were... So, the only real difference was that no one cared to actually cover Microsoft and EA other than me. And then for Ubisoft, there was me, but then... Oh yeah, I'd never even introduced myself. I'm Daniel, aka Dani.
Thank you, Dani.
How could you forget that?
Because I'm just so unimportant. But,
Your face.
but anyway, the only difference was with Ubisoft, Jordy was supposed to join, and William was interested, but I never expected William to join anyway. But Jordy probably already fell asleep.
William here.
It's her.
How are you saying that?
Yeah. It's her.
I'm sorry, Willie. I love you, but I can't say your last name.
Okay.
It's like,
Okay, let's start with Microsoft. So, when Microsoft opened and everything, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they opened with like a lot of promises of change and wanted to focus on the gamers, and in the end they pretty much did, but we can get to that later.
Yeah,
but
they actually did. I was not expecting anything from Microsoft this year. They kind of came through on what they actually said, and that surprised the heck out of me.
Yeah, it seemed like they kept going back to... It's almost like they were like a subtle apology for how they treated their fans originally like crap, and and now they're trying to be like, I still love you guys.
I think they actually almost caught up with Sony this year. They almost did. Like, Sony just managed to break through with Uncharted, but
yeah, but that was kind of
actually
Sony's fault themselves.
Yeah, Sony kind of got a little too comfortable with their victory last year, and that was kind of their downfall.
And then
We
again,
can get more into that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later, but it's not like they could repeat what they did last year after all, especially after announcing new generations of systems.
See, I got to watch the Sony. I didn't get to see the EA or the Microsoft. I got to, I guess, see maybe a little bit less than half of the Ubisoft. I thought in general, which of course I'm sure we'll talk about it later more, that the Sony was kind of good, but it seemed like in the middle it kind of was like, oh yeah, nice claps, but not really a lot of energy.
Here's a nice slap on the ass. I'm just kidding.
They're all very, very polite.
Avery commented and said the games were still iffy aside from Halo, and he's got a point. I heard a lot of Halo fans in the crowd go crazy.
Yeah, can we get to that? So basically,
yeah.
So aside from all their promises and stuff, of course, ironically, the very first thing they started out with was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Of course, it wouldn't be Microsoft without it.
Just as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
playing their trump card so early.
I was like, okay, the opening with a shooter, no surprise there. But then I'm like, seriously, Call of Duty? Are you serious right now? You're just like making it a little too predictable now. and of course, for that game, nothing special, just another Call of Duty, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Arms.
Avery says arms will be the focus for this game. He's still typing. Like dogs was for the last game.
Arms
and dogs?
They had dog companions helping them in the last Call of Duty game.
Really?
Ah.
I think they should have squirrels in the next one, but that's just me.
That would be brilliant.
I
I would actually buy it if it had squirrels.
I would watch that. You ride the
Especially
squirrels
if it's
into
filmed with a
battle.
squirrel.
Ride the squirrel into battle.
Filming a squirrel for Call of Duty. Confirmed.
Wow.
Avery says arms got stuck and lost in the trailer they showed. Yeah, because like at the very end of the trailer, that guy lost his freaking arm. Like, wow.
That was actually one of my notes. Okay, so the only real difference is that they're leaning more onto a somewhat sci-fi-ish, ness, but it's still very Call of Duty-ish. When I saw that part, it kind of like rushed you into this so-called quote-unquote emotional part, where this guy's arm gets stuck, and then he's like, "You just go." I'm like, am I supposed to care about this guy?
I found that kind of fascinating, because if this is the main protagonist that we're going to be playing in the game, I'm not going to play it, but saying, just hypothetically speaking, if that's the character I'm going to play, how are you going to play with one arm, I imagine you'll get like this couple Edward Elric, get a robotic arm or something.
Oh
so
my god, I was thinking just that.
If not, it's going to be hard to reload those clips in the guns.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see how this goes, because I'm not a fan of Call of Duty, but I'd like to see how that plays out if they stick with the route of not having an arm to help.
Yeah, for a second when you guys said Edward Elric, I've been so out of the game with anime. I was thinking of Twilight. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Edward got a mechanical arm? What?
Oh, that Edward. Ew.
That's sad.
We don't talk about that.
I'm sorry.
You better be.
You're forgiven.
Okay, so the next game they ended up announcing was a new Forza game called Forza Horizon 2, I think it was.
Another shock.
And it was supposed to be like open world. It had really good graphics, and apparently there's supposed to be so many players online at once without having any issue. But the only thing I really cared about was the music. I was just dancing. I was like, oh wait, I'm supposed to care about this game. Hold on. But yeah, the music was catchy, but I didn't really think much about the racing game.
I kind of zoned out there. What game was this again?
Forza Horizon 2, the racer. It's kind of like
Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of racing games.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
I kind of zoned out.
I mean, there are some good. I mean, there are some good racers. Forza is kind of good if you like pretty things.
Yeah, and I'm
and
sure,
catchy music.
I know there's a crowd for this. I'm just not one of them. I've just never been a fan. But I'm sure there is a lot of good racing games out there. I'm positive there are. And maybe this will turn out to be really good too.
Yeah, see, I've never really gotten into racing games other than the first two Mario Kart games. I'm sure there's lots of people that wouldn't think that's a serious racing game. But yeah, so I'm kind of with you on that, Kona. I mean, Katie. Yeah, just not a fan of racing games.
Yeah, I take that back. Actually, I'm a huge fan of Mario Kart. I'm ready for Mario Kart 8. I need to get a hold of.
That's literally the only racing game that matters. I don't care what the Xbox and Sony fans say. I'm sorry.
Avery's voting and said, I got it.
Oh,
yeah. Brag all you want.
Yeah, shut up.
I've been out in the wild for a while. Unfortunately, like many of the game series, I haven't played a Mario Kart since Mario 64. So I'm thinking about buying Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, though.
You should.
Yes.
Jinx.
We're totally getting off topic here, but the last Mario Kart game I played was Double Dash for the GameCube, and I still have it. And I was a beast at that game,
You know what? While we are derailing this train, I would like to say that I bought like an off-brand soda, and that's what I'm drinking tonight, and it kind of tastes like monkey poop.
What possessed you to do that?
That's a wonderful description.
Yeah, that's not detailed enough.
Does it taste like bananas?
No, it tastes like monkey.
How can it taste like banana poop?
Banana poop, bananas poop. So, anyways, let's bring this train back on track. So we can go past that game because isn't. But one thing I want to say, isn't Forza Microsoft's equivalent of Sony's Gran Turismo?
Yeah, pretty much. It's the rival racing game.
Yeah, that's what I.
Because Microsoft and Sony have to rival everything.
Oh yes.
Just gonna wait for a Forza X Gran Turismo game. Okay, so after that, they showed something that was kind of interesting to me, which was from the creators of Left 4 Dead, was a game called Evolve. I don't know if you guys remember, but it kind of like took place in this dark cave, and then there was like these ginormous octopus alien-looking things. It was like a cross between an elephant.
Yeah. It kind of looked like an MMO. That's the first thing that I thought of. But I don't even know what it was for real. And brilliant, Avery. He says, "Release the Kraken."
It was basically Cthulhu. That's what it was. Like you're fighting Cthulhu. They should have just called the game. Hey, that guy, the octopus dude. That's Cthulhu.
Cthulhu?
It's Lovecraft, basically.
Cthulhu?
Is that the name of the series he's from?
What?
I don't know. I just always knew him as Cthulhu.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Maybe that's for the best. But I almost immediately forgot about that as soon as you mentioned it. So I'm like, what the freak was that? I don't remember that. And then it just came to me when he said the Cthulhu thing in the cave. I'm like, oh.
It's like some tentacle
like
yaoi stuff, or...
yaoi? Oh my god. No, sweetheart. It's
compared to tentacle farm.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I almost immediately forgot about that as soon as it went on. I was like, oh, that's nice, and I completely forgot. And
yeah, it was kind of short, too.
It was really short, and that's why I forgot. And not to mention I have really bad memory, but regardless of that.
But yeah, I guess what caught my interest more is, like, it probably plays like Left 4 Dead, since it's from the same creators, but it could be pretty creepy. I mean, you're in a cave, and next thing you know, an elephant with an octopus head comes around the corner, and you're like, I'll have what he's having.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was that one, and then the next thing they showed was, of course, the new Assassin's Creed Unity game. So they showed...
Actually looked interesting.
It did.
It did. I saw it during the Ubisoft part, but yeah, it looked really, really good. Sorry to cut in there. But, yeah,
no, you're good. But I've maybe played Assassin's Creed once or twice in my life. And this is probably the only one that actually catches my interest for the mere fact that it has to deal with the French Revolution. And I don't know what it is about the French Revolution, but it is exciting, and this makes me feel excited for this game that I probably don't even care about the rest of the series, and I'm talking it for a really long time.
But yeah, you guys, as you guys know, I'm an Assassin's Creed fan in general. I will put off playing the new ones because I want to play each one in order, which is kind of bad because they come out with a new one practically every year with what a huge team they have, and I'm already so behind right now.
They pop those games out like baby bunnies. Like, it's just like...
baby bunnies.
Oh my.
Like, like, I didn't expect all this. Like, it does look really cool, and I wish I didn't suck at Assassin's Creed.
You do.
I really do. I'm like, gosh,
you will not deny that one there.
I'm like, and just like fall on my face, like, oh gosh, I'm dead, and then like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Oh, I missed it. He comes and kills me.
You guys really should see her play when she was visiting me, and she's playing out. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? She's the least stealthy assassin ever.
There's this innocent man just painting.
Oh, I remember that.
Like, oh man, I barely brushed him, and he fell off.
He fell off and he died.
oh, and I got notorious, like, oh, crap.
She's not even killing her target. She's just killing innocent painters and standbyers.
It was an accident. I just barely touched him. Like, I could have poked that man. He'd be like,
oh,
like,
okay,
and it just fall.
that's a little dirty. We won't get into that.
What?
Now, one thing that I did notice whenever I was watching the trailer, and then during the Ubisoft presentation, they did probably like a 5-10 minute player demo. I noticed compared to the games that I had seen you broadcast, Daniel, it looked like there was a lot more people in the crowd in the streets of the city.
Oh yeah.
And they were actually talking about, I'm sure I'm getting the number wrong, but I mean, it was a huge number like this. They said something like they could have like either 50 or 100,000 NPC characters on the screen at any one time. I know they said it was more than any other Assassin's Creed game that they'd done before.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that is
pretty
very
ironic.
Impressive.
Pretty ironic that they can make all those NCPs and yet not a female assassin.
Oh, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. That's a whole other subject.
Maybe that's the next.
Controversy.
But the thing with Assassin's Creed, you guys, well, Katie and Franklin only saw me broadcast the first one, so you didn't really get to see how much it evolved. But yeah, like each game there was more and more NPCs. But I could definitely tell in the demo of this one there were so many people on screen at once. But once again, it's supposed to be like I guess the previous Assassin's Creed wasn't really next gen, you know. But this one pretty much seems like it could just be the first Assassin's Creed that's for the next gen consoles. Even if I think it's coming out for the previous gen consoles, right? Like PS3 and
Is it?
I thought I had heard Xbox One and PS4, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that is, but I think that might be true because I think I heard about that somewhere. But either way, since this one's like focusing on riots and everything, I guess that was a big focus, is having a lot of people on screen. And overall, they were really convincing how they were, their movements and everything. Overall, when I was even seeing the gameplay, one thing I've noticed with Assassin's Creed as it goes on with each game, getting around the world is becoming more and more fluid. But this time it's like, woo, you were just like sliding across those walls like nothing.
Okay, I actually did look it up real quick, and according to GameSpot, it is saying that it's being released for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.
Okay, so it is officially their next gen one then.
Okay.
Yep.
I heard in an interview that with the whole French Revolution thing and like having 4 assassins involved as long as you're playing multiplayer, I think. I don't remember how exactly it went.
Yeah, that's something else I want to get into afterwards. But
yeah.
yes.
They made, like, the reviewers that I was watching, they made a comment about how it seems like in the first couple of trailers, or, what's what I'm looking for? That too, but, like, gameplay. That's what I'm looking for, gosh.
There we go.
That, it seems like you're just leading the crowd of people to the person you want dead, basically. Like, you're not even assassinating them, you're just leading the people to go kill them, because you see that like, 1 or 2 of the trailers. And that's not true, like, I didn't fully agree with that, because we saw one gameplay where you just, like, freaking killed a man after he just chopped off this person's head on the guillotine. I'm like, yeah, nice try, though. So yeah, that's pretty much my comments on that. Like, no, it's not just about feeding the people to the revolution, it's also just going in and doing the killing yourself. So I don't know what they were thinking.
But can we talk about the fact that it actually has co-op? Before you heard talk from Ubisoft about everyone's interest in Assassin's Creed having co-op, I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. I would love that too. And I kind of figured, Katie hates the online competitive modes.
Well, I do actually. I'm not a fan of that because it was kind of clumsy.
Well, you're pretty bad at it. But aside from that, I figured Katie would prefer co-op mode. I know a lot of people would. I personally prefer co-op compared to competitive.
I do too.
So,
and it sucks because I will forever suck it.
When I first heard about that, I thought it would be kind of like Uncharted, where when you go online, there's a co-op mode separate from the competitive modes, and it has like a little mini story, and you guys go through it and that. So when I was watching this, I was trying to figure that out. I was like, is this like an online mode, or is this like the actual plot, the main plot, and it seems like it is the main plot, the story mode, and like anyone can jump in. If that's true, that's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything to confirm that, but kind of what I saw when they did the 5-10 minute gameplay demo, at the very end of it, the other 3 assassins showed up, so I'm thinking it's during part of the game.
Oh yeah, that's true, because you only saw Ubisoft's demo, which focused on the one player, but Microsoft's demo focused on the co-op. Throughout the whole thing, you saw everyone watching their own screen, all playing the game together at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that definitely looks like it's the one player main plot. That would be pretty awesome. If that's the case. But it makes me kind of confused how that's gonna work though.
Maybe it kind of depends how far along the game is. Maybe it's just kind of a prototype, and we haven't seen all its capabilities.
Yeah, next thing you know, it's completely removed.
Yeah, they're like, by the way, we removed all this content.
Like, whoops, just pretend that didn't happen.
Like, wow, thanks. Just what I was expecting. So, what's the next game on the list? I can't remember.
Well, I thought Avery wanted to say something.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Well, he did.
Avery, and he was gone like half the time, so Avery, do you have any comments on the new Assassin's Creed?
It's okay. It's okay, Avery. Katie forgets about everyone. You just...
Daniel, I swear to God.
Never been a fan of the series. Well, you know what?
I know, right, Avery?
You know what? I'm just gonna move on to the next game. Oh yeah, one comment I'd like to make that I have a complaint with E3. One thing that I hate the most in E3 is when, sure, they got these beautiful displays, like these massive screens that all connected into one, and everything goes really nice together.
Yeah.
And another thing I wonder is, what's their electricity bill? But anyways, aside from that, I hate when they're showing gameplay and someone's playing it, and then they're like, okay, since we're not actually there at E3, we see the direct footage, the gameplay. So then someone has a great idea, like, now let's zoom out. Get out of the screen. Zoom out and look at the person playing as they just stand there holding the controller. I don't care what the person's doing. They're just standing there looking down at the screen using their controller. It's not like they're...
Dani, I think you just asked the thing that everyone has been asking for like years now.
What?
Complaining about them zooming out.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, if they were playing the Kinect or with like the games they showed later on, which I'll talk about during Ubisoft's, we're showing them movement or just dance and stuff. But this is like, I don't get it. I want to see the game. But anyways, past that, they announced Dragon Age Inquisition, which I'm like, but that's just me.
To be honest, I think I may have zoned out there. I was like, oh, Microsoft, please.
Yeah.
Kind of after that, I was like,
question. What is Dragon Age?
It's like a... it's a kind of popular RPG game where it's kind of story-driven, so the story goes according to what you choose. Like, when you start a conversation in the plot, then there's like a whole list of choices you can choose what you say in response, and it defines who your character is, and there's a generic RPG
so
level.
kind of like the choose your own adventure type the video game.
Yeah.
It's honestly nothing that ever seemed revolutionary enough to me to stand out from other RPGs, but there are people who like it. But to me, each edition just seems the same to me. I don't really get what that's... The only one I ever was interested in, and I don't even remember its name, was the one that the one that had Felicia Day actually starring in it, and that's the only reason why I cared about it, because Felicia Day was in it, and even still I didn't care. So
I didn't pay any attention to Dragon Age. It just kind of seemed... like, no offense to any of the fans, but it just never really...
You're hurting my feelings. I'm just
it never really stood out to me, probably because I've got different tastes. I like things that are kind of colorful. Like,
I know, right?
Colorful,
like The Walking Dead.
That's actually one of my very few exceptions. I don't know why. Don't ask why. I was like, I gotta have this game, so I did.
Gotta have it.
No question.
You just see where Clementine goes
I'm probably with Katie on this one.
I'm surprised I even got into The Last of Us, because it seems like the opposite of something I'd be interested in, but it's actually one of my most favorite games now. It's just...
It has Troy Baker and Ellen Page in it. That's more than enough reason
Actually,
to
wrong.
love that game.
wrong game. Ellen Page is in Beyond Two Souls.
Isn't it the same game?
Isn't she in Last of
No,
Us?
it's a different actress, which just had a whole controversy that they said Ellie's likeness was too similar to Ellen Page, and Ellen Page complained about it.
Just a quick comment on that. I never got that. I never thought she once ever looked like Ellen Page. I'm just like, she just looks like Ellie.
She looks like Ellen Page to me. This is what happens when I talk about Western games when I know diddly squat.
Well, you know the most hilarious part is originally how she looked before the game came out. I do think they kind of modeled her a lot after Ellen Page, but afterwards they changed her, and she doesn't really look like her anymore. You could check some box art that like originally came out. She does look very similar. Well, I think it's pretty funny because eventually, over time, Ellen Page just recently came out, and then soon after, like, the DLC for Last of Us came out, and basically Ellie kissed a girl and had feelings for a girl. I'm like, there's a connection here, isn't there? But,
No, not really.
I still have to try that DLC. But,
yes, in fact, I got The Last of Us back last week. Max and stuff I gave it to me, so
I'm still waiting for mine. Okay, you know what? I like even forgot we were talking about Dragon Age.
Oh right, well that's.
But
sorry
we
about
got
that.
our opinion
That was
from that one.
Yeah, that's actually my fault. Sorry. Anyways, I don't think any of us seem really interested
Yeah,
in Dragon.
we can move on to the next one.
Again, no offense to any of the fans, just it doesn't really appeal to us.
Yeah.
Only thing
Sorry,
real quick before we do move on, I was just wanting to make sure, maybe I have this confused with another game. Is it Dragon Age or Dragon Quest is made by Square Enix?
Dragon Quest is Squeenix.
Squeenix.
Okay.
Square Enix like that. Square Enix.
Squeenix.
I think they lost Avery.
Did we?
Yes.
Avy-chan.
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 Okay, you know what? I think this is the one game that derailed us the most. That if you guys, if anyone wants to know what games interest us the least, just find out how much we derail on one.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
We're gonna get derailed a lot,
So moving on to one that I think caught a lot of people's attention, regardless of being Microsoft fans or not. It's from Insomniac Games, which are the creators of Ratchet and Clank, if I'm correct. They announced a quirky free runner called Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
Which...
Oh my god.
I thought that looked great.
I don't even know what it's about, and I freaking love it.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it was kind of like...
Colors.
It's really out there for a Microsoft IP, you know? That's what I was thinking.
It's just all that energy built into that character that we were looking at, and all the energy we saw through the gameplay. I just thought it looked fantastic and vibrant and fun and fast, and it definitely looks really overpowered, but that may be because... That may be, I'm not saying it won't or will be, that may be because they wanted to make it look smoother while they're at E3 to get everybody's attention. Like, yeah, look how smooth this is.
But yes.
Just imagine how slower it'll be when you get
They sometimes do that with demos. They kind of practically play it on extremely easy where they can't die or anything, so they can demo. But he also knew what he was doing. Like, he never stopped moving with his parkouring through everything, because if you first played, you'd be kind of like, what can I go on? But basically, it seemed like every object in the whole game you can basically use as a way of moving around, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I thought that looked really great.
Oh yeah, I forgot Franklin missed out on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying that sounded pretty cool, the way that you were saying that, you can take, almost any item and use it in some way. That kind of makes it more realistic.
Yeah, but I mean, I forgot you didn't make it for Microsoft's conference to do.
No, yeah, I didn't get to see any of the Microsoft.
Yeah, that was, other than Halo, for obviously the Microsoft Xbox fans, I think that game, the Sunset Overdrive, was a huge highlight for everyone.
It definitely was. I thought it looked great.
Yeah, I think kudos to Microsoft,
Yeah, there you go. You did something good every once in a while.
I mean, it's still a shooter, but it's not as generic as some of their other IPs.
Yeah.
So, are you okay with us moving on to the next thing announced?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready.